The stock market tumbling today with news of a weak jobs report, and President Donald Trump's new tariffs are adding to economic uncertainty. Today is the deadline for countries to make a deal with the U.S. Trump signed a new executive order raising tariffs on nearly 70 countries. Those go into effect next Thursday. All countries now face a tariff of at least 10%. Well, more tariffs combined with today's less than stellar jobs report are fraying economic nerves. Only 73,000 jobs were added in July, and numbers from May and June were revised down by 258,000 jobs. So what are some of the reasons for this? Joining us with some answers, as always, retired TCC Professor Emeritus of Business Administration, Peter Shaw. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
My pleasure to be here.
I think the big surprise was that revision down for May and June. That's
Absolutely.
Only 33,000 jobs combined for those 2 months.
That just shows you how much the private sector is slowing down the economy. They're slowing down, they're reacting to what they think is the economy is going.
Okay.
And so that's where you're seeing those changes take place. There's been over 8,000 jobs lost and tens of thousands of jobs lost in the federal government.
Right.
But the big numbers are in the private sector.
Okay, so now with the tariffs, I mean, these tariffs that take effect, I guess, August 7th, what is that going to do to the next jobs report, or where are we going with that?
Well, I always tell people, first of all, if the tariffs went to zero, we would always have trade deficits. Simple examples. Right. We don't make coffee, we don't make bananas and diamonds and so forth. But what's going to happen is you have a lot of business people, small and medium size in particular, who are just going bananas, trying to figure out, okay, those tariffs kick in, how much is that going to cost me to get those products in that I normally do to run my business? And then I have to pass it on to my customers, and how many of my customers can absorb.
Right, right.
And that is the great unknown. That's number one. Number two is the instability in the announcing tariffs.
Okay.
When and where. And
the back and forth that we've seen.
Back and forth. And there's been usually there's been sort of a geographical layout. Like, for example, in the Asian countries, it's usually between 15 and 20%. You get over to Europe, Switzerland's at 39%, while Liechtenstein and Iceland are at 15. So they're trying to figure out why Switzerland is so far out of whack, the outlier. And my money says there'll be a renegotiation going on.
Okay.
But the instability on how and when and where these tariffs are taking place. Because remember, you can have, say, a 15% tariff in general on Japan. Right. But certain markets may be exempted from Japan or at a lower rate. But nobody knows.
The inconsistency. Well, could we finally see a drop in interest rates now because the economy may not be as strong as Jerome Powell thought it was?
Well, as you know, the Federal Reserve has two mandates. One is to price stability, in other words, control inflation, and their target is 2%. Second one is to have what we call full employment. Well, our unemployment numbers are still within that range of stability.
4.2%.
Yeah, so it's still in that normal range. But what the feds are really worried about is the inflation effect from those tariffs.
Okay.
If you get tariffs going up 15%, for example, suppose Toyota has to pass that on. If you go to buy a $40,000 Toyota,
and it goes up,
it's going to cost you $46,000.
Exactly.
$6,000 can break the bank for a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We always appreciate your insight. Have a good afternoon.
You too.